Hello, loves. All right, ask any baker out there and they will tell you that square cakes are the hardest to make. They are the most difficult to ice. They are the most difficult to cover in fondant. You would think that it's not the case, but it truly is. It's very, very time consuming. But sometimes you do need a square cake. So the trick is you have to make sure you use a lot of buttercream to cover up every single nook and cranny. The cake has been chilled in the fridge so that it's nice and firm for me to ice it. And what I'm doing is I covered it all in cream, smoothed it down, and now what I'm basically doing is going around the cake so many times, I can't even tell you how many, to make sure that I cover every single cranny. And I have to keep my hand super steady and firm on the board to make sure that I am creating nice straight lines. So after I did all that, what you see me doing here is scraping off the cream to create a nice smooth finish. What I didn't show you was I did put the cake back in the freezer for a good 10 minutes or so, and that helps to firm up that cream. This way, when I take it out, I can devote a little more energy and time to just scraping the cream to make a nice sharp edge. I love scraping off kind of frozen buttercream. It's kind of satisfying. So again, I'm basically going around the cake, smoothing out the edges, trying to get them to look super sharp and clean. And for the areas that need some filling with buttercream where there was like spaces, I went ahead and I filled those little areas with some cream as well and re-iced it or re-smoothed it again. Because the cake is cold, when you put that cream on to fill up the spaces, it tends to harden a little bit quicker, which makes it easier for the smoothing process. So now to cover this cake in fondant, okay. I always struggle with this. I go ahead and I measure each side of my cake with a ruler, and then I measure out the piece of fondant that I'm cutting out. But I guess my measurements are always off because they never meet up perfectly. So here I am. I laid my fondant out. I left it out for an hour or so just to firm up so I can pick it up easier and lay it on the cake. And then I took the other piece that I measured out as well and tried to connect them together. So I went ahead and I did that for the entire cake. I cut off some edges that were kind of sticking out with a pair of scissors. It's the best I can do. So now if you haven't figured it out, I'm making the Roblox Pet Shop building. It's from the Roblox game Adopt Me, and it does have a lot of little nooks and crannies in terms of bricks. It also has a lot on the side and on the back. But the customer was on a budget, so I decided to just really focus on more details from the front of the cake. And I put more indentations on the side. So I kind of just indented into the fondant instead of making separate bricks because that was really time consuming. So you see me adding just bricks all the way throughout the front of the cake. And I'm using my little smoother to kind of indent like brick shapes and whatnot. I used an edible sheet for the Pet Shop logo. Now, I never really time my cakes, but I figured today, let me try. I woke up and took this cake out of the freezer. I filled it, I iced it, I covered it in fondant, and now I'm working on the minor details. So no joke, take away about 2 or 3 hours due to mommy duties. I worked on this from like 9 o'clock all the way to 9 o'clock in the evening. And you don't even want to know what I charged. It was not so great. You know, sometimes you tell yourself, is this really worth it? No, I should have charged more, but it's okay. It was for my cousin. So I used a little board to help hold up that awning piece because I didn't want it to fall. This was the only way I felt like it would be sturdy enough to hold it up. So I cut off a piece of board and stuck it into the cake and used that as structure or support for the awning. I didn't get to show you all the little details, but I added trees and the little pot where the bushes are and whatnot. I went ahead and I cut out some images of her favorite Roblox characters and I put them on top as well as animals. And what looks like a very simple cake is actually not. Looks can be deceiving. So this is the final product of the Adopt Me Pet Shop Roblox cake. Trees were made out of fondant, bone was made out of edible paper, and that's it.